Alright, welcome back. Good evening. We are learning Azure Identity, that we call it as Azure IAM or whatever you can call it, but ultimately it is called Identity. And yesterday we learned how to implement AD Connect and we have seen how to deploy a domain controller. We have seen a lot yesterday. So today we will again see some of the pending items, how to delete users, how to create users, how to create groups, and again how to create dynamic groups, and we'll discuss about licensing and how to implement SSPR, MFA, and if time permits, I'll go with multi-tenant. So these are the topics pending in this module 1. I'll try to cover this in next 2 hours. If you have any questions, hold them till ending, and we'll spend some half an hour of time and we can talk more on that. So that way I can clear all of your questions, right? So note down whenever you have any questions, yeah, kindly note it down then and there, and again come back with it once we end the session. All right. So that way again we will not deviate from the topics here and there, right? So that way also will be fully focused, right? So to start and gear it up, deleting users. Again, why did I say delete users is because I already have created. So that is the reason I just thought of starting with deletion of the users. Means I have sometime back I have already created, means in our labs only I created bulk users like Linux administrators, Windows administrators, storage administrators. If you see database administrators, all these things, all these users were created using bulk operations. So here this is where we used bulk operation script, bulk create, and we created them, and now we'll try to delete them, right? So deleting also same way, bulk delete, right? And you will have to download the template. So assume that I have downloaded, and here you need to just open the template, right? This is your delete template, and just fill in the UPN, user principal name, we call it as. UPN means user principal name. What do I mean by that? Any name @domain.com is called UPN, user principal name. Similarly, you'll have service principal name, security principal name, right? Groups also will have. So anything which can be authenticated is called UPN, and this is again an example of a UPN. Means whichever user you want to delete, you just have to put in here in one column. That's it, and then execute the script, execute the command here. So by going back to the portal here again, right? Assume that I have downloaded and I have to update the sheet with what all the users I want to delete, all the UPNs. So I said, right, cs@wilmatech.com, again storage admin 1@wilmatech.com. Likewise I need to fill that first column and upload it. And every time I do this activity, right, so I need not do it manually every time, so that I'll just pick up the already filled in template, so which is already lying in my computer, so I will use that, right? So it's there in my templates here. I think it's here. So here I have delete Wilmatech administrator. So I'll use the template, right? So where I have already included all the usernames, means whatever usernames I want to delete it, I have already included them. So this is how you just upload it and submit it, and that way what happens, it will clean up all the user accounts which are mentioned in the template. So what users did I mention? If you want to check it, you can check it here. So here I'll go in my code, and here I have the template. This is the template. So likewise, you will have to maintain templates. So user creation template you will have to maintain, and deletion template also you have to maintain. So here, as I was mentioning some time back, you should not change this width of the CSV files. See, CSV files don't work if you change the width of it. So don't just change the width here. Just update the usernames here. Whatever usernames you want to include here, just keep on updating first column and execute this same spreadsheet. So that way you can delete the users, right? Or if you want to delete some users, maybe a couple of users, just select them here. Just select them here on this dotted ellipses here. Just click on that and delete user. That way you can also delete multiple users at once, right? since we have already deleted them, if you refresh it, all the users will be gone from here. Same way, if you want to create bulk users, this is the place you will come here and say update all bulk users, and same way you have to download the template, and same way you have to fill the template. So here this is the Wilma Tech template. So this is what I have already filled it, and same way you can also practice. So here only thing is you need to fill the columns here. So first column says display name of the user and username, user principal name, right? So these are user principal names are always username at domain.com, and password. You need to fill in the passwords, whatever password you want to initially apply for the user accounts, and users will again change those passwords later at the time when they first time log in. And first name, last name, job title, department, and block sign in. So these are some of the important columns you have to fill in, and these are optional. So city, phone number, email address, zip, and all those things are optional. But without these columns, you cannot create the user account. So you need to ensure that you are filling up all the required details. Suppose your company employed 50 users at once, quarterly, right? In such cases, HR will share you 50 users in bulk, and in such cases, you have to ask them. Means HR and again AD team will go hand in hand. So AD team will AD team will actually coordinate with HR team and ask them to submit them. Give them back the data in this format so that both teams are aligned. So that you'll not have to waste your time in again gathering information, aligning it, and all those things. Here itself, they may exclude this password column, and you may have to fill this password column, and rest of the things are all taken care by the HR team. If they are not practicing, you can encourage them so that they will not have to waste our time. Right? This way, you'll be getting this template, and you will have to fill all the missing columns. And once the sheet is ready, then you can go ahead and upload it. Edit the three-step process: download the template, edit the template, and upload the template. I've already shown you, right? So again, we are seeing it. So here, what is that one I want to do? So I want to again create users here. So I've uploaded it here and submit it here. So this is how you will create or delete bulk users, right? And here, you can click here to view the status of each operation. So once you click on this, you will know what is happening with the template. So you can see the timestamp here. So what time is it? 8/9. Again 9/5. Today, 8/17. We kicked off this deployment. And here itself you can just move it right side and see the success rate here. 15 entries have been added. Total 15 requests. Nothing failed. So this way you can also see what is happening with your request. So now if you look back, all the users have come back now. So likewise, you can create bulk operations, right? And similarly, I showed you how to create group accounts. So here, since we already have user accounts, similarly we can perform group accounts. So why do we want to go with groups? Is again to manage user accounts, because if you have users, it's very difficult to manage them individually and independently, right? For example, you have large number of users, 1,000 users are there like this, right? So you cannot manage 1,000 users independently. You cannot manage them, and it is not a best practice. So instead, you are clubbing these users here. Means definitely a user will belong to a particular team, right? And this is again say HR. And these are called database administrators, and these are called network administrators, and these are called Windows and Linux administrators. Likewise, you have to create the groups here. And once you create the groups, it will be easy for you to manage, organize, control all the users. So the purpose behind groups is managing, controlling, and organizing users, so that it will be easy for you to handle users. So that is the reason what we'll do, we'll create security groups. So these security groups have to be, again, we'll talk about that. But again, these are the groups which will help us in managing large number of users. Take any organization in the world, they will not touch the users. They will just create the users and leave them, and they will always add these users to the existing groups and remove the users when user exits the company. Means as the user joins, user account will be provisioned and it is added to the respective security group, and when user exits the company, it will be removed safely from the group, so that this user will lose all the associations for the security groups are in place. Means this security group may be having access to network resources, all network resources. But that way, user gets granting permissions and user loses permissions once the user goes out. That way, we will manage user groups. These are called user groups and security groups. So how to create those security groups? It's very simple here. You come to Azure Active Directory again, and here you have groups here. And once you click on groups, there itself you have option of new group, and here you can designate one person as the owner for the group. Mostly leads will be the owners of the groups, team leads, right? So that team lead or the team manager will know who is joining their group and who is exiting their groups. So that way, owners are always leads or the managers. So here you should select security here. If you want to go for Office 365, means in your organization, if they are using Office 365 and you want to assign this license to the group, means if you want to assign this Office 365 DL, if you want to create a distribution list email account for the group, then you should select this one. But in our case, this is not applicable. We are talking about security. And if that is the case, what I will do, I will go ahead and create Win admins, right? I'm calling it as Windows administrators. And description should be, again, whatever description you want to follow as per your company standards, because these company standards may be slightly different from one company to other company, right? So they follow their naming convention, but always security group starts with SG. And again, the group description will have complete information about what is this group meant for, and what is the location, what is the region, what application is it meant for. All those things can be merged into the description here. And now I want to make one person as an owner of the group. Say for example, Windows administrators, right? So I'll say WA, right? I want to make this guy as a group owner, so that he will have privilege to add and remove members from his team. So now I want to add members to the group. Click on members here and say WA, right? And select what are the audience you want to add it in this group. Just single click and you will see them here selected, and say select. That's it. And once you do that, create. And this way you can create security groups, and for this security group you can grant permissions on the all virtual machines. Means wherever they want access in Azure, they can be, this group can be assigned to, instead of individuals, instead of users. So that way it will be easy for the AD administrators to manage groups rather than managing users individually. So that is the significance of groups here. Same way, what we have is, this is again, if you see, the membership type is assigned, right? Membership type is assigned. And now if I want to create another type of group, there is another type of group which is called dynamic group, and that is the most widely practiced one. So here you don't see right option like selecting. If you want to drag it down and again select the group here, you cannot select it, because we need to learn about some licensing here. If you go to licenses here, this is again AD licenses, we call it as Azure AD licenses. So currently my licenses are again, if you want to see what license are we using, you can click on the Active Directory here, and here you can see the license is AD free license I'm using. If I'm using AD free licenses, then I may be short of some features offered by Azure AD, and that I need to procure. Means we'll have to learn about something on licensing as well. So for that purpose, what you have to do, you have to click on licenses and licensed features. Once you click on licensed features, so here you will see all the licenses, and also you see some back arrows, right? This, if you click it here, it will just snip it inside. Again, if you want to again snip it inside, again you can do that. Snip out and snip in. So here you will see all the features of your AD. It means user provisioning, group, device, lot of features are there, lot of features. And if you just scroll it down, you get some additional features. So these are all freely offered features. any feature mentioned as yes here, it's all freely available feature like service level agreement, group access management, multi-factor authentication, and so on. All these features, whatever listed as yes, they're all freely available. Anybody can take advantage of these features, right? Similarly, if you see, try AD Premium 2 and Premium 1, right? Means whenever I'm talking about licenses, means again whenever I want to set up AD in my company, right? So I need to purchase it. So if it is an enterprise company, enterprise level company, then the Azure AD should be, you need to provision it, means you need to purchase it. So one comes with free options, means free licenses. You need to talk about licenses actually. So this is again P1 and again P2. So means three types of license are offered to all the individuals. So now free is available to all, means open. Anybody can access it. Anybody can use it. And P1 and P2 are the paid versions. You have to pay for it, right? You have to pay for these two licenses.
Sir, what is licensing means?
What is licensing? Okay, one second, just a moment. My pen is broken. 1 second. I'll explain in a moment. All right. So in IT industry, right? In IT industry, whatever you want to purchase, right? It has license associated with it, right? Any software, any tools you talk about, right? Any operating system, right? Any operating system you purchase, right? You have license associated with it. Are you aware of it?
Yes, right, yeah.
Yeah, same thing here also. When you are signing up Azure, you have to purchase licenses. So each license will give you one benefit here. So free will give you some benefits, premium 1 will give you some benefits, and premium 2 will give you some benefits. Means a license will give authority a company to make use of the features. Similarly, when you are buying a car, right, you want some minimum features, some better features, some best features, right? Similarly, here also, when you are going with Azure AD, you have to purchase it. So when you are purchasing it, you get it free of cost, one option, and you have P1 another version and P2 another version. So we are talking about these features now, right? So for that purpose, what you have to do, you have to go to your licensing section here, right? So here you have to, means whenever you want to set up Azure AD, you have to sign up for the licenses here, right? So here you need to come to license features. I was telling you, so there are good number of features available free of cost. You need to explore these things. And then you have some other licenses called P1 licenses. So if you want password protection feature enabled for your Azure AD, then you need to go for P1 license minimum. And if you want self-service password reset, change, unlock, and again with on-premises write back. So this is again means these things you need to study additionally. Means if you want to become a specialist in AD, definitely you have to spend more time, maybe 2 more months time on Azure AD itself. But ultimately, in our course, you should be aware of that there are certain types of licenses, free, P1 and P2. And scrolling it back here you have some 4 licenses, P2. Means P2 licenses, if you purchase, these are the 4 benefits you will get. And most of the enterprise companies, right? So most of the enterprise companies, what happens is they will go with this one actually. So these 4 are meant for enterprises, and all above are mid-sized to, small to medium-sized companies. right? I'm repeating. These 4 features are very useful, and they're always offered under P2 license. Most of the companies sign up this model. As a result, they will get these 4 benefits: identity protection, privileged identity management, access reviews, entitle management. So these are very important features. Apart from this, if your company is a small company or a medium-sized company, you can opt for P1 license. And especially if you are AD professional, then you have to learn additionally, you have to learn all these features, what each meant for, right? We cannot cover everything in our syllabus. This is entirely a different, what I call very lengthy model. Azure AD is a very lengthy model, but you should have an idea. Because of that reason, we are learning.
Can you give me what is actually at least 1 or 2, what exactly the difference between P1 and P2 licenses? Major difference are.
This is what I told you, right? Here, these are the differences. These 4 licenses are the part of P2 licenses.
Okay. What is P2 means? What includes that one?
This what these 4 include. These 4 are included in the P2 license. And coming to that, so we will see that. We will see that in a moment. But first thing is, what I want you to understand is there is something called license. Are we clear with that? Whenever you are purchasing Azure AD, there is something called license, and there are 3 types of licenses. Are we clear with that?
Yeah. So we have to select any one, either for P1 or P2. It is mandated to select any one of the license.
Correct. So if we have to select any one of these, means based on what will you select, right? That is the criteria here, right? So whenever as a company, right? Whenever as a company you sign up Azure, when you sign up Azure, you will get Azure AD, and this Azure AD will be free version. I'm repeating, whenever you are signing up Azure, you will sign up, the moment you sign up Azure, you will get Azure AD free version. And this free version will always be available, but it is with limited features. It is with limited features. If your company is not happy with these limited features, then what you have to do, you have to go for P1 license. If your company is still not happy with that, then you can go for P2 licenses. And what is the difference between each is, again I told you, it is not going to happen now. You have to spend additional time in differentiating all of these. But here you have 4 differences. 4 different features you can expect, and this is the most preferred license, and this is especially meant for the enterprise class companies. Enterprise class company means any company which is having a good number of branches, and multinational companies, right? The corporate companies, all those companies will fall under enterprise class companies. And if that is the case, you have to opt for P2 licenses. And if you are going for P2 licenses, these are the 4 benefits you will get, I was telling you. So here if you see, available in Azure AD P2 only. What is it? This license, this feature. Available in AD P2, what feature? Access reviews, PIM, identity management. I'll shed you some light on this, nothing to worry about, but ultimately you need to procure licenses. Simple. And again, you need not worry about this in simple. So this is again taken care by the licensing department, and they will take care of it. You need not, as an individual, as a learner, you need not worry. But interview perspective, you may have to have some idea what are the different types of licenses offered by Azure AD, and that is free, P1, P2. P2 is meant for bigger organizations. P1 is meant for medium organizations. Free is meant for anybody. Free means free, right? Anything which is available free will give you only limited benefits, right? And how to get this license is again a challenge for the licensing department. So what you have to do is you have to sign into admin.microsoft.com. So this is where you will go and purchase the licenses, right? So I'll say this one. So you need to go to the portal azureadmin.microsoft.com portal. You have to go, and from there you need to purchase the things, whatever you want to purchase from Microsoft, right? So you have to go here and click on this, and again billing, and from here you can see the purchase services. Whatever product you want to buy, this is the place to come and purchase services, right? So here, what services are you planning to purchase? You say AD premium.
Sorry, I have one doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, actually we are going with a pay-as-you-go normally. So in pay-as-you-go also you have different licenses like P1 and P2, or both are not related at all?
These are not related.
Services.
This is related only to the Azure AD.
This is only
related to Azure AD. Pay-as-you-go applies only for the subscription. This we are talking about Azure AD. Right?
This one is only related to Azure AD. Okay.
Yes, Azure AD. So as you just scroll it down, you will see the Azure Active Directory Premium 2. And if you want to purchase this license, what you can do, you can just click on details here. Right? So how many licenses you want? Based on the number of licenses, this pricing will differ. So this will be 650 rupees per month. And again, it will cost you 7,800 per year per one license.
This is to log into the user and everything, right?
Not log into the user. This is, I mean, to take the advantage of the features. Mm-hmm. See, I'm talking about company, I'm not talking about the users. I am a company, yes, and I want to get some features, and if I want to get some features, I have to purchase them, right? So this is a free version now. So I want to purchase. If I want to purchase, and how will I purchase? I will come here and I will purchase it. Means how many companies do I want now? For example, I have only one company, right? So I will go with one license. So this licensing model also very huge in, I mean, you need to manage. Even for this also you have dedicated jobs, license manager, right? It's a huge thing, but as a, I mean, out of my own interest.
For entire company, am I right?
I'm sorry?
This license is applicable for the entire company.
Correct. For company.
User account.
Yeah, not for the users. I mean, not for the users in the sense, there are some points you need to consider, right? So, Azure AD licensing, right? So if you go to Azure AD licensing here, pricing will be there here. So here you need to go through and again check the options. Again select the option, what pricing you want to see, in what format. If you are in US, select USD, UK currency, India, Indian currency. And here you have the options here, P1 and P2. And here you have the pricings here. So if you go with P1, you'll be getting 400 rupees. And purchase method, I need to purchase it online, or again I can contact Microsoft, and includes a Microsoft Office 365 also. So likewise, you need to explore these features and capabilities as and when you come across, right? So likewise, anyways, I'll be comparing the licenses here, but ultimately when we talk about licenses, you should have an idea. There are 3 types of licenses, and these are the features. So when you go with the default license, the free license, where it will give you the benefit of 5 lakh objects, means you can create 5 lakh users, you can create 5 lakh user group accounts, means ultimately an object, a user account is an object, a group account is an object, a computer account is an object. Likewise, you can create up to 5 lakh objects in the AD. And same way, if you're not talking, can you go on mute please? And single sign-on. So single sign-on again offers you up to 10 applications. You can set up single sign-on, and core identity and access, P2P collaboration. These are all some of the useful features, right? Each feature again comprising will make an active directory. So likewise, single sign-on is a feature, core identity and access is a feature, B2B is a feature, identity and access Office 365 is a feature, hybrid, advanced groups, conditional access, identity protection, identity governance. These are all some of the useful features. That is the reason they are all covered under P2 licenses. If you go for P2 license, there is no object limit and there is no SSO limit also. Single sign-on means nowadays you must be seeing, right, when you open something in portals, I mean nowadays whichever service you procure, they're expecting you to log in with your social account, right? You can type in your Facebook account or Google account or Twitter account or so on, right? So that is nothing but it is giving you benefit of using your social account to log into the applications. And also user need not log into the organization multiple times. Means if you have a company and the company is hosting some 100 applications, right? This is your company and say it is hosting some 100 applications, right? And there are users and users log in. One will access app 1, one will access app 2, one will access app 3. Likewise, users will be accessing apps. When a user already logged in here, his authentication and authorization will happen here. Once it is done, then what happens? The same user need not type in the username and password for accessing the second application, accessing the third application. So likewise, a user will get the ability to log into any applications the moment just after logging in once. That is single sign-on, right? And most of the companies are following this approach. Just entering into the company and accessing all the applications. That is the beauty here. So likewise, you have a lot of benefits. So likewise, ultimately, I've just showed you how to procure P2 license and P1 licenses, right? You need to go to the site here and purchase the licenses. So you need to make the payment and get the licenses.
Office 365 is also one license type?
It is a different product altogether. Like Azure AD, Office 365 is a different product. But again, it goes hand in hand.
It is only a product purchase.
You have to purchase license for that. Anything in the world requires a license.
Yes, sir.
Right? Yeah. So anything in the world you need to purchase it. But ultimately, the purpose behind talking about this licenses is, if you recollect, right? If you recollect, we were trying to create a group account here, right? So here I was telling you assigned type only, right? Assigned means manually I have to add the users into this group here. If I don't manually add, users will not get the privileges. Means whatever permissions I have assigned on the group level, they will not get the access. So for that purpose, I have to manually add the users into the group, and that manual process is again a troublesome process, a cumbersome process. So that is the reason we want something like automatic addition of the users, right? For example, I have users here. I have users here, n number of users. For example, Linux administrator is there, and likewise developers group is there. For example, developer 1, 2, 3, 4, likewise developers are there. And there is one developer, what happens? Traveling from Canada to US. There is a developer called D1, and this developer has already got an account provision. Means dev1 account and password has been provisioned, and these details have been shared with this user, and he actually lives in Canada, but he is traveling from Canada to US, right? And before he travels, for example, on 6th September, he is traveling to Canada, right? 6th September, he is traveling to Canada. And before that, what this user has done, he has submitted all the requests. He has submitted a request, please give me access to development environment because I need to work in this environment. Likewise, he has already submitted a request to the company. And the company, what happens, for example, Raj is the administrator of the AD. And now Raj, what he has done, he has seen this request and he has provisioned this one. And here, what happens, this user needs access to development environment. How will he get the environment access? This user has to be added to the development environment users, SG. This user has to be added to this security group called development environment users security group. And Raj has not done that. He has created the user account and shared these details to developer. And developer thought that by the time he reaches US, he will have access to the development environment. He thought it. And he came on 6th September and tries to access the development environment, right? Developer 1 tries to access this development environment, and again he is unable to access it because Raj has forgotten to add this user. He has created it, but he has forgotten to add this user to the security group called development users, development environment users. As a result, now the developer 1 who traveled all the way from Canada to US is again blocked now because of human error. Means we are human, right? We can commit errors anytime. It's not compulsory to just to be consistent all the time, right? To overcome such situation, we have something called dynamic groups, right? So we have something called dynamic groups. Then what happens? These groups, no matter Raj has created a user and forgotten to add him to this group, still the dynamic groups, if you have set it up, automatically add these users to the group. That automation is again offered with P2 licenses, right? This dynamic groups is again a feature, and at least for this purpose I need to go for P2 license, right? Likewise, there are many such features. This is one simple feature I'm talking about. And
so how do we know that it has to go to the development group? So
how do you know that it has to go to the development group?
Yeah, as a dynamic, development in the dynamic grouping, when it is allocating, when Raj has moved out, okay?
I'm not clear with your question.
No, what I'm saying is, okay, you said that, okay, he moved to a different place and created a new user account, and you are giving the dynamic group to him.
I'm not giving him dynamic group.
No, system is giving dynamic group, right?
I mean, he is getting added to the dynamic group.
I have broken. What I understood is, like, when the user is created and didn't assign any group, you will be giving the dynamic group, right? System is giving the dynamic group. Am I right or wrong?
No, I think you didn't follow me. We'll talk about this later. Once we complete the session, we'll talk about it. That's what I told you initially, right? If you have any questions, note it down. Don't stop the flow, because others will again get deviated, right? So that is the reason I'm asking you to.
I didn't understand the concept. Okay, fine.
That's what. If you don't understand the concept, just hold it on till we complete the session. Then I'll repeat it. All right? Because there are others, right? So I need to. Does anyone have questions on this one? Because I'm going in a flow, right? If you miss the concept, again you will not understand the concept. So that's why you should be with me 100%, not 99% also, complete 100%, right? So I was telling, let me repeat it. So here there is a developer, right? There is a developer. This developer joined my company, who lives in Canada, going to US to work on some development environment, and for that purpose user request has been submitted, and Raj has created that user account and shared these details to developer. On September 6th he is coming to US, and he came to US and again tried to access the development environment, and he failed to access the development environment because this user should be a member of a developers group. He should be a member of developers group, and Raj has forgotten to add that user to this developers group, and that is the reason now he is blocked now. Such mistakes happen, means its users, I mean, a user has already submitted in this request. There is this line called, please add this user to this group also mentioned in this request, but Raj did not do that. And as a result, who is the problematic? I mean, who is facing the problem now? Developer is facing the problem. It is only a one-day travel, right? Now the user is again logged here. Now what happens? He will simply escalate it to the management, saying that I can't access the environment. And again, that request will come back to the operations, and the operations guys will again investigate what is happening with this user account. Account is there, account user can log into the environment, but again, he cannot get the access to the environment. There the investigation begins. Again, he has already lost 1 hour time in logging in, and investigation begins, and Raj is again on Monday, he's off. And then what happens? The other fellow mate, he will try to discover, means he will try to revisit the request. And Raj again already mentioned that user account has been created and provisioned and details have been shared with the user, already mentioned in the SR, right? And in such cases, again that user which is on floor will reinvestigate, and again he'll come to know that he is not a member of the security group. Again he will add that user to the security group by the time it is afternoon. Means for 8 hours work, 4 hours work is already lost. Such times there is some solution called dynamic groups. So you have to create, means as a company what they will do, they will create something called dynamic groups, and you will set some rules here. Based on the rules, what happens automatically, this user will become member here, and automatically that user will get all the required access. So that is the power of dynamic groups here, right? And how to set it up, we'll see it here. For example, and I told you, we can set up this dynamic groups only in the P2 licenses. I already have one more company called Wilmazon, and that is again running on P2 licenses. And the other company I have running on the free licenses. If you see my company here, it is running free version, right? And the other company is running on the P2 version. And if you go to groups here, if you go to groups, then what happens? You will see the dynamic option here. Means you have to create. What I mean is, whenever you are creating a group account, see, actually we are learning the topic called group account. That is where I started, right? So we are talking about groups. So what is a group? Group is again collection of users, right? User 1, user 2, and user 3, right? And here we have two types. One is assigned group and the other is dynamic group. So assigned group I've showed you, right? I've created a user account and I've added that user to the group, Windows administrator group. That is fine. But I'm talking about the dynamic group. So this dynamic group is available only in the P2 version, P2 AD license. And now we are in the P2 license version of the AD now. So I'm showing you how to create a dynamic group. So here I'll say security group, right? So Windows admins, right? Or I can say developers, right? Security group developers, I call it as. So what I will do, I will describe it as this, and here if you see, you will get the drop down, right? Which license am I on? AD premium. And once I'm in premium, what happens? I'm getting the capabilities. Means I can create manual groups, automatic groups, nothing but dynamic groups. So two features are available only in premium versions. If you go to the normal free version, this is my free version, and if you go to groups, you cannot create dynamic groups. Only assigned groups are offered because it's the free version. And if you see, it is grayed out. I can't check it. I can't select it. So that is the drawback of free versions. And that is the reason we are going with paid version, nothing but premium version. Now what I'll do, I'll select dynamic user. So here I'm selecting, I'm making one of the users as the owner of the group. So I'm saying Narendra is the owner, and also just select it here. And dynamic query, I'm going to add it. So this dynamic query is the one which I have to add. Based on that query, automatic population will take place. So automatically users will get added to the groups concerned. That is the advantage of dynamic groups here. Means any username starting with WA will get added to this group. Means whatever criteria I have set it here. For example, if I set the criteria here, right? So I say choose the property and display name I select. Means there are a lot of properties here. Country, department, based on the need I can go with the type of property here. For now I go with display name and choose the operator. So choose the operator means starts with I'm going with. Means any username starts with this name. So let me show you what all kinds of users I have here. Right. So here, if you go to the user accounts, right? If we don't have it, we will create them. Right? We don't have any users. Then what I will do? I'll do a bulk creation of the users in here. I'll say bulk create. So here, assume that I've already downloaded and again edited, and now I'm uploading it. Right. So here they are in my training here, code, and here they are here. So create template, Wilma admins. So this is the group I have already got users applied, and say submit. That means my bulk users will get created now. Right. So once the bulk user gets created, then I'm good to create dynamic groups. Right. So now what I want is assume these are developers. WA admin 2, these are developers, assume. So what is the name starting with common here, right? WA caps and DIMN is a common for all the users, right? So now what I'll do, I'll just select this username here, right? I'll pick it up, and while creating the rule, I'll say this one here. Means any name starts with these 3 alphabets, assume WAD or MIN. Means whatever you mention here, based on that your query will get created. So here, once you supply these details, click on this blank space here. Just click it here, and then you will be seeing a query added here, and just save it. Then what happens? Automatically, any user account you created with this mentioned starting name with wadmin, right, will be added to this security group automatically. You need not worry about it. That is the power of grouping here, dynamic grouping. So here, if you go back to the users here, so we have 3 users, right? So 3 users will become members of this group here. This is the one I get created, right? SG admins. So here, if you see 0 users are members now. In a moment, you'll see 3 users will get added to this group automatically. I didn't add them manually, right? They get added automatically because of the dynamic rules what I've set it up. So what rules did I set it up here? So this is the rule I've set it up. Any display name with WADMIN will get added to this security group automatically. Means likewise, we have several hundreds of examples we have. One example I gave you, like here I gave you an example of that user traveling from Canada to US, right? Likewise, you have several situations, hundreds of situations are there. So based on your need, you need to pick up the dynamic grouping creation. So likewise, you can work on dynamic groups creation, and they will save our life. Just by means, a new user, as soon as you add a user, this rule runs and automatically group members will get added. So that is the power of dynamic groups. You need not worry about it. Just refresh it here, wait for a few minutes, and automatically you will see the members. Any username starting with wadmin will be added here. So that is the power of dynamic groups. All right. So yeah, these 3 users will become members of this security group, and then whatever permissions you have set on the security group will be applied for all the 3 users. Right. So likewise, you will have to set up the dynamic groups. Right. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Sir, what are the privileges or what are the conditions that we can set for the dynamic groups? Like, we are creating dynamic groups, I understand it completely.
Correct.
So that is a kind of, spare group which we can assign to the any user. So based on certain rules.
I mean, for example, you assume like you are a developer or a tester or whatever it is, right? So what do you think the permissions you would need?
So it is only one kind of okay.
For example, you are 3 members. Assume three developers are there, and now 3 developers have joined my company. And what privilege do you think you can apply for those 3 users?
Maybe based on the role he has been selected for.
Simple, that's it, right? Based on their role,
Yes.
what is the role?
So,
what is the role responsibility? Developers will get development privileges. Administrators will get admin privileges. Management will get management privileges. Likewise, you have different scoping. I mean, the permissions we have not started yet.
Okay.
We will be learning permissions in a separate chapter. But ultimately, our goal is to understand the AD concepts. AD concepts, users, groups, types of groups, management groups again, whatever.
No, so the user will be there in the dynamic group as long until he again move to the different role. Am I right?
Move to the different roles.
So the concept behind the dynamic rule, okay, their main intention is user should not be left handicapped and he should be assigned to some group. So that is the reason I think this dynamic grouping.
See, for example, I'm giving the same example. Dynamic, I mean, user 1, user 2, I mean, user 3. Three developers are there, right? And there is a development environment. Development environment means there is a front-end VM is there, and the back-end VM is there where database is running, right? And there are a lot of applications running in this environment, right? And now these 3 users have joined my company on the same day, assume. Now I have created 3 users, right? And for 3, do you think 3 times I have to give them permissions, or giving them permissions at once is better?
Your voice has broken actually for me. Can you answer question? Repeat the question again.
Yeah, so I've created 3 user accounts. 3 users joined my company in the same day.
Okay.
And now you want to give them access to this development environment. They are developers. You want to give them access to the VMs and the databases and so on, right? You want to give them access. If you want to give them access, will you give them 3 times access for this user once, for this user once, for this user once? 3 times you want to give it, or once in one shot you want to give them access?
I will give in the same access. When creating, I will assign the group and give it to him. That is one option. And the second option is you said dynamic grouping. So I'll put a rule.
No, not that one. Answer to my question. So you like giving them 3 times permission or giving them 1 time permission?
1 time permission.
How can you give 1 time permission once you have a group in place?
Yes.
So I call it as development group. Then what I will do, I will add these members into this group. And group is already granted permission. For this group, already this environment has been granted permission. So likewise, you will ensure that you will create a group account and add these members to the group account, and you will set the permissions on this environment for this group account, not to the individuals. So that is the goal behind groups. And now, if you, for example, D4, newly joined person, and D4 also requires access to the environment. In such case, what will you do?
I will give to the dynamic grouping, but my
not
question
dynamic
is
group. No, not dynamic group. No, just answer to my question here.
Okay.
Suppose user has joined. Think logically. What would you do if you want to give him access? What will you do? And what you have done for these 3 users for getting them access? And for D4, what will you do?
D4 I'll give the environment access, Azure access.
How?
I will assign the group.
How will you give them?
By assigning the group to the group.
Right?
Create.
That's it. You will add this member. You will add this user to the group here. That's it. And automatically the 4th user also will get the same granted permissions. Means whatever you have granted to this group, he will get the same access. That is how you will handle the groups. And this is again assigned groups. Assume that you have not manually added, right? for a moment, assume that you don't want to manually add it here. For example, you got some D4 to D10 users have joined, and you don't want to manually add it here, and it should be automatic. In that process, you will go for dynamic groups.
Sorry to interrupt, Narendra. Here we are writing some kind of SQL query, and we are making users in a specific format, naming kind of convention, and it is going automatically into that group.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So dynamic query you are writing actually. Using the dynamic query, whatever you mentioned it in that expression, dynamically it is adding whoever matches the expression. These people are getting added to the groups here. That is again another part of grouping.
Okay, thanks.
Manual grouping.
Now I got clear. So this dynamic query will assign the group to that particular user based on the query. Which is the point I missed. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing. Okay. So one more thing. Suppose I have 10 users, but they have different capabilities and different kind of access required. So can I have multiple dynamic groups?
Yes. We go with multiple dynamic groups only, not one group, because you'll have multiple hundreds of dynamic groups, and automatically based on the criteria, whatever criteria you are adding here, right, add an expression. So you can build complex queries here based on the need. So here and operation you can select. You can now next criteria you want to go with city. Anybody coming with Canada should belong to Canada group. Anybody coming with company name, Wipro, TCS, and so on. Also, you can select that name. Based on the names, they will be added to the respective groups. So likewise, you have different options here. You need to explore them.
No. My question is that suppose I have one user, I want to put in two different dynamic groups. Suppose one different based on country something, and one other is based on
You can do that. He will get both the privileges. He will get both the privileges, right?
One more actually.
Depending on the need, he will get the. I don't know why it is not showing here.
Sir, one more point on the same point actually. Where you are giving this actually to the group, okay, there was a development group is there, okay, dynamic query was built, so where you are assigning that, okay, if is, for example, you said WA admin should go to the admin group, where you are giving that relation.
Yeah, so that means that's what I told you. You need to be with me 100%. Only then you will follow. Try to concentrate on because I'm repeating again. For example, I'm going back to the Azure Active Directory. Right, I'm creating a new dynamic group now. For example, which account am I on? Premium account. So I'm creating first of all, you need to have a groups users already present. Right. So there are users already present. For example, all SQL DBAs. Now I'm creating a SQL DBA security group, dynamic group. Right. So what I will do, I will go back to the premium here. First of all, okay. So here, what is the name starts with SQL DBA. So this is common for all the users, right? So now what I will do, I will create a new dynamic group here. Right. So here I'll say security group SQL DBAs. Security group SQL DBAs. I will mention it here. And here, instead of assigned, I'm selecting dynamic user, right? And here I'm adding the query here, add dynamic query. And now I'm adding the expression. So what expression am I adding? Selecting the properties here. So which property am I selecting? Display name. And what operator am I selecting? Here you can select any of, see, it's your baby, you can do whatever you want, but in my case, I'm going with this query, start with. And now I'm adding the value here. So what is that value I want to add here? SQL DBA. So I'll say for example, SQL or SQL D I want to go with, right? So I just want to mention it here, right? I'll say any username starts with SQLD will be added to the dynamic group what I'm creating now. So I'll just, after mentioning it here, I need to click on this blank space. Just click it here. After seeing it here, just save it.
Just one minute. Oh, sorry to interrupt, Narendra. 1 minute. If we go back, if you don't mind. Can you go back? Yeah, please.
Okay.
So here I want one more. I can click on the add expression and I can add multiple conditions.
Yes.
Okay.
So
like that we can. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah.
So here, for example, the SQL DBS come with country base. For example, all SQL DBS coming from India, right? So here you can select that criteria also. So where is it? So matches, so or contains, or not equals to, equals to, whatever you want to specify here, you can write it. Again, starts with or equals to, contains, or any. Likewise, you can specify anything here.
Okay. You can add multiple conditions.
Yes, multiple conditions you can add.
We'll explore more on this. No problem. Okay.
Yeah. So now, it is, you have to define it. It means you have to come up with proper planning here. What exactly you want to define in your dynamic groups. So that planning again is based on the company's needs. It's not my wish or your wish, right? We have to go with the company's needs, and they will differ from one company to other company. But ultimately, in our case, example, this is the case. I'll say save it here and create it. And over. Now the dynamic group has been created. SG, SQL DBS, and type is dynamic. Same way you can also create assign manual also, right? Assign group. At assign group I told you, right? But it will take manually you have to assign. But the problem I told you, right? If you assign manually, things may not move properly accordingly. So dynamic groups are always preferred choice. So dynamic groups again will get all the access required to the participants, whatever you have set it up for this dynamic groups. For example, I have SQL DBS already, databases. And for this SQL databases, I have already set up permissions on this SQL databases. Automatically, whoever is a member of this SQL group will get access to the SQL DB. Similarly, for all other resources also. So likewise, you can set up dynamic groups here. You have to sit, write down, and implement. That much you should do it. So here, 0 users means discovery will take around 2 to 5 minutes. It will take based on the query and again based on the time and again also, right? And then accordingly, you just have to wait for a few minutes, and automatically you will see the membership here. Right, so you will see the members here. If you are not seeing them, just do a refresh here. So likewise, dynamic groups will help us a lot. Right, so slowly, I mean, it will take a little bit of time, but it will show up here. So you have to wait for it to discover it to happen, and again automatically add the usernames which are starting with SQL. Should be added to this particular group. It will come back. So likewise, dynamic groups can be utilized, right? And apart from that, so what I wanted was licenses we have discussed. Then we have something called SSPR and MFA. So SSPR in this sense, for example, see, I'm repeating again. We are talking about the next topic, SSPR, self-service password reset. Right. So now, for example, your user, I'm going back to the normal account now. So this is my normal account, normal standard account, where I have already created users. For example, so these are the users in my company. So this is again a network administrator, right? Who is this network administrator? Let us see. This network administrator, his first name is Jitendra and last name is Singh. This guy user account name is this one. So then what happens is Jitendra actually usually logs in from his computer like this. What am I doing now, right? So I want to use it incognito here. Right. So here Jitendra will again open up portal.azure.com. Right, so it has taken to another account. Let me sign up. Sorry. So now Jitendra is logging in from his machine by typing in his user account nwadmin1 wilmatech.com. And now what happens is he's typing the password, and he has logged into the company. I need to know what password did I type it here while creating it. So what is the password? It is 3. Okay. So now So Jitendra has logged into the company, and first time he has to change the password. When he is logging in for the first time, he has to change the password to his own choice of the password. Right? Now he has changed it, and he could happily log in, and login was successful. Right? And now he's logged in and again logged out. Right? For example, he logged out, and after 5 p.m. he logged out, and again next morning, this is again second day, he's trying to log in here, but unfortunately he forgot his password. Right? And here what he has to do, he has to pick up the call, and again he has to call the call center. Right? So Jitendra Singh, right? He is a user. Again, what he does, he will call the call center again. Right? Call center he will call, or help desk, I call it as help desk. And then what happens, he will escalate it them, and again he will ask them to reset his password. And Jitendra actually logged in, called the help desk, and asked them to reset the password. How much time will it take, do you think, for resetting the Jitendra's password for the help desk guys? Are you guys with me? Jitendra forgot his password. He called help desk to reset his password. How much time will it take for help desk to reset his password, and how much time will it take for Jitendra to get back his new password and login?
It depends upon.
It all depends. So this help desk, if it is prompt, maybe 10 minutes to 1 hour to 2 hours to 4 hours to 8 hours. I don't know what SLA they are following, right? But ultimately, until this help desk fixes his issue, Jitendra has to sit idle. And imagine how many such requests will come to ICICI Bank every day, or any account you think about. How many such requests you can expect in a day?
N number of,
right? So n number of requests. This help desk is spending their productive time only for password resets. Means help desk will be maybe 10 members, right? 10 members will be there to support our help desk, and this help desk is using their full complete energy only for resetting the passwords complaint raised by throughout the corner in the world, right? And 70% of their time they spend in resetting the passwords. That means 10 individuals are they wasting their time in resetting the passwords for other individuals, right? So Microsoft, what it does, it came up with something called self-service password reset feature. So this is available in free feature also, free Azure AD also it is available. And in such cases, what organization have to do is they have to enable this feature. Means in order to let the employees reset their own passwords. So I'm going back as Jitendra now. Now Jitendra has forgotten password, and now Jitendra is trying to reset his password. He saw something here, forgot my password. Now Jitendra is trying to reset his password. And now what happens? Get back to your account. Who are you? You need to prove who are you. I'll say this is me, Jitendra, right? And here Jitendra has to type in the CAPTCHA here. And after typing the CAPTCHA, let us see what happens. Maybe this is also caps, I don't know. Let's try. It says, we are sorry, you cannot reset your own password because password reset is not properly set up for your organization. Means it is blaming company, right? It is saying that your company has not set up password policies, you can't change it. Then Jitendra, what he has to done? He has to call back call center again. There is no other way now. He has to call back. So again, call center will receive the request and call center will reset the password. Again, that process will take a lot of time. Instead, what I will do as a company, in my company, right? This is my company, WWS. So in my company, I will go to Azure Active Directory as an owner, as an administrator, first time, assume. And in here, I have something called reset password here. Password reset. There is an option called password reset, and here I will select self-service password reset enabled. Right? I'll say all, and once I do this and save it, then what happens? Now the Jitendra will be able to reset his password. So again, Jitendra now log in. I mean, first time he logs in. For example, he knows the password actually. Assume. Right? Assume that he knows the password. He logged in, and once he logged in, he gets this message, and he's logging in happily without any problem. Now assume that he forgotten the password. Assume. And now second day. Assume. And he has forgotten the password. Then let us see what happens. So here now he's trying to reset the password. Forgot my password. And now Jitendra has to submit the request here. 65 I don't know, KVRDYR, right? And next. You cannot reset your own password because you have not registered your password reset, right? So then what happens is, if you can't sign in, you must contact administrator to reset your password. And after you can sign in again, register the self-service password reset, right? So this one again still blocking him, means whenever a user signs in, one has to register it. The user has to register the self-service password reset option. So once he does it, then he will be able to reset the password. For example, I'm just taking another window here. So for now, I'm taking portal.azure.com and again signing in as Jitendra here. So here Jitendra again typing the legitimate password here, whatever he is aware of, right? Right? He will get this message whenever he logs in for the first time. Second time, he will get the message like this: more information is required for employees. Means because I've just enabled this feature, right? This one I have just set it. Because of this reason, users are enforced to register their contacts. So this is what this guy will see here. Authentication phone is not configured. Set it up now. So I'll say yes, I'm setting it up now. So here, where is Jitendra now? Jitendra is in India, assume. And what is Jitendra's number? I'm typing in my number here. Or if you want anybody's number, I can do that. And now text Jitendra. And now Jitendra will be getting a call, on his number, right? So Jitendra has received some code on his phone number. It's me actually received it, and I'm typing in 7800330. I received it. Means Jitendra has received it. And now once the phone is set up, means Jitendra's phone number is this one. He has configured in the Azure directory, and that time what happens? Then what happens? He can recover his account using this phone number. Same way, he can also set up his own email, company email address also, but he doesn't have email address. He cannot set it up now. Say finish. And now Jitendra has registered his mobile number with company. Means whenever you join a company, you will be asked to register your contact, phone number or email address. You will have to provide them. Without providing them, you cannot reset your own passwords. So for that is the goal here. So now Jitendra again logging in as usually, and this time what happens? He types in forgot password. And now what happens? Jitendra details are captured here, and now Jitendra is typing in R4XWKWD or D or P, I don't know, P I guess, right? So next. Yeah, now can you see here? In order to protect your account, we need you to enter your complete mobile number ending with 93, right? Now what happens? Jitendra has to legitimately type the password here, plus 919908669393. He has to type in this so that he can receive some text message. Say text. Now Jitendra will be getting a text message on his phone number. Right? So now Jitendra has received a text message on his phone number, say 656987, and then next. Now Jitendra has got ability to change his password, lost password. So now he is changing his new password. Right? So this way SSPR will help people and help companies. Right? Here he can click it to get into the company. Now Jitendra has reset his password. Now he can happily log in with new password without having to engage help desk to reset his password once his password is already set up in the right. What happened? At 1, 2, 3. So likewise, Jitendra, without having to contact the help desk, he has reset his password and could log in. That is because of the self-service password reset. It's a small feature which is available in Azure AD. Once your company is setting it up for everybody except administrators, all users can reset their passwords like this. So likewise, I don't want to continue with here this one, and I'll just make it as none now, and let's save it. There is a purpose behind it. I'll tell you why later. Right. Right. So now, this was all about self-service password reset, and there is another thing called as multi-factor authentication.
So the purpose is for your company confidential or something else related to the organization? No,
I'm not
actually
clear with your question.
No, you have selected no, you have selected none, and you said that it is some purpose is there, right?
I'll talk about that. Just forget about that.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Just concentrate on the items which you need actually, right? So don't concentrate on the things which I just say skip it, right? Pay attention. I mean, this is what we are learning now. I mean, MFA, so multi-factor authentication. So in this multi-factor authentication, what is it? First thing is, what is it? For example, you are there and your password is there. Usually I have created, for example, I'm creating an account for you. Assume. So I'm creating an account for you in my account. I'll go to accounts here, right? I'm creating an account for Praveen, assume. Right? So here I'll come and I'll supply all the details for you here. I create a user account, and what is your full name? Praveen and
Praveen Kodavalli.
I'm sorry?
Praveen Kumar.
I mean full name, last name. What is last name?
Praveen Kumar Reddy.
PKR, right? So who was I was talking? Wasn't it Praveen or?
Yeah, I'm Praveen.
Okay. So here I'm creating a user here. I'm saying Praveen and the last name. I'm creating a user account for you here, and Praveen REDDY Azure for time being. So Praveen KUMARREDDY. I'm creating a user account. Assume that Praveen has joined my company. I'm creating a user account for Praveen, and here I will share these details to Praveen so that he can log into the organization, right? And this is the password. Initial password I'm setting, automatically setting, means system is setting up the password, auto-generated password. So this is again a preferred choice. And now what I'll do, I'll ask him to log in from, it's UK, right? Which region is it?
Yeah.
United Kingdom, right? And job title, for example, I'm saying solutions architect, and department is IT, and the company is Wilmot Technologies, Azure. And likewise, I'm supplying all the details and creating a user account. Now what I will do, I will I will send an email to Praveen, right? So here on his personal email ID, right? Is this the one, Praveen Reddy? Not this one, right?
No, contact me .kpk.
Okay. Contact. So yeah. So now, so what I'll do, I'll say creds, and here I'll say pkr@wilmartech.com, and this is the password, and I will send it to you. Right? This way what happens, you will receive the credentials and you will log in like me here. I mean, I'm just logging on your behalf here just to demonstrate here, right? So here, assume that you received the credentials. Assume that on your behalf I'm logging in here, right? So here pkr@wilmartech.com, right? And Praveen Reddy is already having a first time password called this one, right? He will supply the password here, right? And signs in. And now he signs in the password using this password. He is setting up the new password, right? And he has set it up over fine. So far so good. There is no problem, right? And now Praveen could log in happily by providing the credentials. Now, for example, so this is Praveen's machine and this is Naren's machine. And Praveen again logged in, again trying to log in, and Naren actually, due to some reason, he is shouldering him, right? And by mistake, Naren actually captured password, username and password. He captured, intentionally or unintentionally, he captured it. And now Praveen's password and username is also with Naren here. So this process is called spoofing. It's called spoofing, means you are peeping into somebody's shoulder and knowing the password is called spoofing, right? You are behind him, but Praveen did not notice. Narendra is just behind Praveen and he did not notice. And now Narendra slowly comes here and logs in on behalf of Praveen. And this cloud, Azure AD, right? How will it know whether it was Praveen or Narendra? How will it know it? Does it have intelligence to know that it is Praveen or Narendra? How will it know it? It doesn't have intelligence, right? All it needs, username and the password. That's it. So now assume that I spoofed your credentials, assume. And now I'm logging in from India and you are in UK. Did it stop me to log in here? It didn't stop, right? All it requires username and password. So this way companies are facing some difficulties. Means this is again unifactor authentication, we call it as. Unifactor authentication means just having username and password, I can log into the environment and there is no safety here for this approach. And to overcome this problem, what Microsoft has done, it has provided some additional benefits with Azure AD users, where user, apart from providing username and password, can opt for any of these 4 solutions. He can install an application in the mobile app, means we call it as mobile app. He can also a company can set up any of these additional multi-factors. This is only unifactor. So you are also wanting multi-factor to implement, right? Means company wants some multi-factor also here. This is unifactor authentication, UFA, and these are multi-factor authentications, MFA. Means user have to provide username and password plus this one or this one or this one or this one, any of those things. And for this one, it is very cheap, and again no additional infrastructure is required to set up this solution. Means everybody has got phones, right? Everybody will have ability to receive the text codes, right? In such cases, this is the best feature being followed by most of the organizations. Earlier we used to follow RSA token systems. This is called RSA tokens, right? You'll be having a key kind of pager kind of device with you, where you'll be receiving a message or a text code or the numbers, right? That you will have to punch in after typing in your username as a second level validation. Only then you can enter into the environment. So this is again a second level of authentication. So this is again freely available in Azure. So again, mobile application you have to install, or you can simply have a mobile already registered with your company, and that will get a text message. Once you get a text message, you can happily opt for this. So for example, this is mobile app. Same way, companies were using RSA tokens. Also, they can use smart cards. Yesterday I was talking about smart cards, right? And also they can use certificates. Likewise, Azure is giving us benefits of MFA with mobile application or text codes or RSA tokens. This will require an infrastructure. This will require infrastructure, and this will also require infrastructure. Means you need to set up that environment. You have to purchase servers. You have to install the software. You have to maintain the hardware. All those things are required for this one. For highly secured environments, yeah, definitely look for this. But small to medium sizes are going with this approach. If I want to set up this approach in my company, so what I can do, it's very easy. So what I'll do as a company owner, I will go to this one. So here I will just refresh here, and for Praveen I want to right. So for Praveen I want to set up MFA, right? Assume, and in such case per user MFA. So here you can just select per user MFA here, and it will take you to the another portal here. So here I have to log in with my own credentials, means the owner credentials. Whoever is administering Azure AD, you need to log in with. Once you log in with that, here who is that user you want to set up the MFA, right? For example, I want to set up MFA for Praveen Reddy. I'm selecting it here, and once you select it here, click on enable, and enable multi-factor authentication, right? And now what happens? Done. Now what happens again? Praveen Reddy is logging off, signing out. Assume. And now Praveen Reddy is logging back again. And Praveen Reddy is typing the password here. Right? And now Praveen Reddy is asked to provide more information by the organization. And Praveen says next. And Praveen Reddy is again enforced to register his phone number. See here, additional security verification means secure your account by adding phone verification to your password. Means a second level of validation is asked to set up for. So authentication phone number. So here I'll say United Kingdom, and here what is your phone number, Praveen?
7050
750
30
30
42
42
906.
906. And you will receive a text message. It's fine.
Yeah.
Say next. And by any moment you would receive a text message on this mobile number, right? And you have to type in that mobile number. The PIN code, whatever code you receive. Yeah.
Yeah, I got 595.
595.
445.
445. So say verify. So once this is verified, Praveen Reddy is all set up, right? So now, for example, assume I am Narendra here. Assume. So Praveen Reddy has logged off, right? Praveen Reddy and Narendra both will work for the same company. Assume. And now, on behalf of Praveen Reddy, since Narendra is already aware of password, assume password got leaked, right? Right? Narendra typed proper password only. Then what happens? Praveen Reddy will receive the code actually. Whoever possesses that phone number will receive the code. And now Praveen Reddy will come to know that somebody is logging in now. will Praveen Reddy know who is logging in? Again, he'll submit a request to the companies and find out who tried to log in, right? They will again get hold of the computer and the person who is trying to log in, where is he from? That again comes under cyber security, right? But now, can I log in? I cannot log in, right? As a Narendra, I cannot log in. Only Praveen Reddy has that code number. Now, if I provide proper code, only then Praveen Reddy can log in.
Yeah, I got a code.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just giving an example here. I don't need the code.
Okay.
But all I need is the process. So MFA again is helpful in this manner. This way, spoofing is completely stopped. So there is again, no matter whoever steals your password, still they cannot log in wherever they like, whenever they like, because MFA is enabled, multi-factor authentication. So that is the beauty of MFA here.
So
right?
here,
So
can we use any app?
Yeah, you can use app, mobile app also you can use. If you go to Apple,
Google Authenticator?
No, Azure Authenticator.
Okay, there is Azure Authenticator. Okay.
Yes, you can use Azure Authenticator. You can install from the apps, right? Where you can set it up. And this will, did I invest any time here for setting up MFA here? I didn't invest any amount here, free of cost, right? I didn't set up any additional servers, nothing. So SSPR is offered, MFA is also offered, everything is offered free of cost. Right? So this is how you can work with MFA also. Right? So any questions so far?
Narendra, one question. Actually,
I was thinking you are Praveen actually. Sorry about that. So this is Raj, right?
Yeah, Raj.
Okay, Raj. Yeah, tell me, Raj.
My question is, one my organization is sending us me text message as you showed me now to Praveen. Okay, and other organization, when I log into the client, they are showing me, they're asking to enter the passcode generated by my in the mobile actually through the app. So how both has to be selected. First one we have shown me, but if I want to select the second method of having the app and enter the,
you need to install app in your machine. That's it. So you need to just install the app, and that app will again mobile app. You just have to install.
Now, how the settings? What are the settings here or in the Azure?
Nothing, like, no settings. Only you have to install it. That's it. So you just have to go to.
But they're asking me to enter first 4 digits and then the passcode shown on that one. So it is not the only the passcode. I have to enter some 4 digits, which is my chosen at the first time, and then.
Yeah, that's what. Whatever code you have received, right? That code you have to provide first time.
Sorry, Narendra. I think Raj is asking a question like that. Suppose, how can you set, because suppose example, I'm using Google Authenticator. You said you can use Azure Authenticator app. So that app is linked to my mobile number. So here in setting, you set the settings in you enter your mobile number, something like you get a test for mobile. But in case of app, is there a different kind of settings we need to?
See, this is your mobile, right? Assume this is your iPhone. So you have to install the app.
Azure Authenticator.
Yeah, right. Azure Authenticator you have to install. Once you install it here, the app will open up. Means whenever you open the app, right, it will ask you to provide the credentials of your organization. So you have to provide the username, right, password, and after that, meanwhile what happens is your organization actually ensures that your app is registered.
Yes, someone is going to,
Yeah, your phone number will be there here, right? Your phone will be registered. And accordingly, what happens, this phone number means this is your phone number, right? Once it is registered, you will be getting a code here. And once you provide the code, that's it. See, actually, two-way authentication here is you are actually logging into your machine, right? This is your desktop where you are logging into the cloud. And while logging into the cloud, if you're having an app installed on your machine already, where it will act like a dual factor authentication.
Yeah.
The app itself will act like a dual factor authentication where you'll be getting a code on your phone, and that code you have to type in here apart from your username and password.
Yeah, Narendra, but here how we will do in this here Azure, what you called on this what you called cloud, because
So
normally
Praveen,
yeah.
so Praveen, can you go ahead and install the app here? Azure mobile
Okay.
mobile app.
Yeah, one.
Yeah. You just have to install it by going to the app here. You just type Azure, it will show.
Okay.
Right? You
Yeah,
just have
I
to
got Azure.
Yeah, Azure. Just install that.
Okay. Azure portal or just Azure?
I mean, which phone is yours?
Samsung.
Okay, Samsung. Then it is going to Google Play, right? So in Google Play also you'll find the same app here. So what did you see? Azure portal and
Azure portal, Azure DevOps, Azure something like that. Yeah, Azure portal login. I'm doing on my laptop. You are talking laptop or you want to do on my phone?
laptop, your phone.
Okay, phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
You can look for Microsoft Authenticator.
Yeah.
So there are two pieces here. Authenticator is one and the app is one. So app, if you install, you can directly access complete Azure portal on your mobile, right? Or if you just want to install Microsoft Authenticator, that will again act like a authenticator, just like a
Okay. So which one you want to Authenticator app?
Yeah, Authenticator app. Yes.
Yeah, normally when I'm using this mobile apps on the external cloud, we used to get a barcode from that respective team.
Correct.
So once after downloading the barcode, yeah. Okay, yeah, also same thing.
Yeah, same thing. Instead of barcode, you will be getting So the barcode you should show it on the screen, right?
Yes.
I mean,
No. Like, the barcode I need to use for this app, Google Authenticator. So it will recognize my device and mobile number.
Here also same thing. There is no difference. Same authenticator, whatever way you want to use it, you can use it. Provided your company should set up that background.
Yeah. So yeah, I got downloaded. Yeah, I need to log in with my.
Yeah, you need to sign in with your account, whatever Azure account you are using, right? So that account you need to add those details, your username, password, and the phone number. You have to use it. And once you enable MFA on your Azure end from your laptop, then you're authorizing your mobile, means you're registering your mobile with Azure, and you're all set.
Okay, you mean what are the credentials I used for Azure portal? The same credentials I need to use here.
Yes.
So it will sync with my device app and mobile number. So every time when I open, I need to take the dynamically generated what you call
Export.
Passcode, and I need to put there.
Yes.
So no need to do any setting outside on our Azure portal.
Nothing. Azure portal, only thing is this one. Like you need to just go back to your portal here. So here MFA, right? This is only for one user.
Select, yeah. So select for MFA. Select.
And this is for one individual user. If you want to do it for the entire company, what you have to do is you have to come here. So you have to go back to your
yeah, in case of because 10 people joined at a time in a company and they want to get, so in that case.
Correct. So this is for multiple people. So multiple people, what happens is, this is the policy here. Like if you go back to the licenses, right? So such features are offered only in the identity protection, right? So this is again an additional feature called identity protection, and this you have to use it in Azure. For example, if I show it here, I'll say identity here, right? If I say Azure Identity Protection, Azure AD Identity Protection, right? And here you have to enable this feature, and this feature is not available in free version, so you have to purchase P2 license. See here, this view is for AD Premium to customers, right? Likewise, for all such important features, you have to procure P2 licenses. So once you procure P2 license, then you're all set. So again, I was trying to show you here. This one, right? So I'll just log in here. I'm again logging in with my P2 license. Okay. So now MFA is happening for me now. So I received a code on my mobile. Right. So here I'll be typing in my code. So likewise, I'm into my P2 version of the AD. So this is again premium version, and if I go to premium version of the AD, you can see the P2 licenses here. Right, this is P2 running on P2, and same way in your P2 account, if you go to identity protection, right, Azure AD Identity Protection, where you can enable this MFA. So here, if you click it here, now you have the ability to turn it on, enforce policy on for all users. That's it. Just click on here and save it and over. Right. So this way you'll be getting a lot of benefits with P2. So not only one or two benefits, you will be getting a lot of benefits. So if I go back here into my previous account and see the licenses, that's what I told you. Like you have a lot of benefits, not one or two benefits. That's the reason most of the companies, what they will do, they will purchase P2 licenses and they will get a lot of benefits. So especially these last four benefits: privileged identity management, identity protection. So the one what I'm talking about is identity protection. Means it will protect the IDs against spoofing, against ID theft, ID theft, right? So those things are all protected using this. Access reviews is also there, right? These are some of the useful benefits where Microsoft is making money by forcing people to purchase these features. And conditional access, the one what we have just shown you, right, MFA. This conditional access is again available in P1 license also. And SSPR is again available in your, SSPR is available in free version also, right? Self-service password change. So likewise, every time you will learn one or the other items in this, not in one shot, right? So likewise, we have seen couple of features here. So as we move ahead, you will be coming across different features and capabilities, right? So likewise, we can think about MFA also, right? So this multi-tenant, I don't think I can accomplish today because this will require 1 hour time, right? If you have any questions, we can discuss.
So this is for all users or only few users you can make also? MFA.
MFA, that's what. If you want to make it for all users, you need to have a P2 license.
No, my question is different. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, suppose I want to use the MFA for only 10 users out of 100 users. Is it possible? Okay. Or only you can make? We have to make.
Totally up to you. See here, what happens? Where are you now? Here, let me go to my premium account. This is my premium account. Instead of all users, you can select particular groups.
Okay.
You can select groups, you can select, or individuals, you can select whatever you want to, you can do it. But only thing is that you need to have a P2 licenses for doing this one. And also there also you can do it. For example, MFA is offered for free of cost, right? So here policies are not possible. This protocol identity protection policies are not offered, but if you want to enable it for individual users also, you can do it by going to the second portal, right? So here you can select user by user, multiple users you can select it, but not on groups. And for groups, you have to sign up for P2 license. Right? So here, if you go to users, and here itself it's giving you option, right? Per user means single user, per user means you have to select individually like this one. You have to check the boxes individually. But usually we don't go with this approach unless it is a very small company. Because why do you want to implement different policies? Policy means should be common across your company, right? We don't make multiple policies. Most of the companies follow one single policy when it comes to MFA. No matter if it is owner or a user, whatever it is, don't care. We will go with only one policy. All should follow the policies. So that is how it is, right? So this is how it is. And again, let me play this one. So this is what we have seen it. See, all over overnight we cannot learn all these things. We'll learn one by one. I mean, whenever we get time, right? Likewise, and moreover, we are not covering anything here. So we are just talking about their availability. As I mentioned earlier, we have to learn it separately, independently. We have to learn it outside of this. But ultimately, this is an additional effort you have to put for learning these things, right? Nobody will stop us, right? You can learn it. And identity governance, identity protection, conditional access is the one what we have just seen, MFA, right? Means whenever a user is meeting a particular condition, only then he is allowed inside the company, right? So self-service password we have seen, and users and groups also we saw it, right? How to create users, how to create single user. All users must have an account. And the account is used for authentication and authorization. And again, identity sources, cloud or directly synced or guest. So guest also I can create. So when do I want to create a guest? When I want to invite some user from outside of my organization. For example, my company is a development company. And in such cases, I don't want to create user. See, for example, Wipro developer user, TCS developer user, Cognizant developer user. And these are all Wilma developer users. And here I'm developing an application, right? And for this development, I'm calling three guys: Wipro guy, TCS guy, and Cognizant guys. Means three users I'm inviting from three different organizations. Means they have their own Azure AD, right? And they have their own Azure AD, and they have their own Azure AD, right? In such cases, it is called B2B solution. This is called B2B. Means every company has got its own Azure AD, right? In such cases, I'm actually collaborating with them. So I'm collaborating with other companies. In such cases, I call it as B2B solution. Means these users, what I will do, I will add this user into my AD, Azure AD, as a guest. Here I will add these users into my Azure AD as guests. Then what happens? These three users can get authenticated with my Azure AD and can access all my resources. Though they are not belonging to my company, but still they are coming from outside of my organization, and that becomes my B2B solutions. Same way if you are using Facebook or Google, right? And again, same way if you are having some social networks like Google or any social network, right? So Twitter, in such cases, it becomes B2C solution, business to customer, right? Is it clear or confusing?
In Azure, what is the B2C?
But B2C means you are allowing Facebook users to log into your account. So for example, my company is there, right? WWS is my company.
Okay.
And now what I will do, I will invite guest users. So in guest users, I am not creating user, I am inviting the user. What is this? Raj, Kumar, Raj Kumar. And now Raj, can you tell me your email address?
nnvrajkumar@gmail.com.
I'm sorry.
nnvrajkumar.
nnvrajkumar@gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
Right. So here I'm using a social account, right?
Yes.
My company is actually running on Azure AD. This is my identity provider, but I'm inviting outside of my organization. Raj again is a developer and will work for my company for time being and go away. In such cases, I will say invite, right? Now what happens? Now this is again B2C solution, business to customers.
Okay.
Right. So now what happens? I am actually running the business and I am getting a user helping. I mean a user called Rajkumar with his Gmail account helping my organization and working on all the resources and will leave my company in some time, and I'm giving liberty for this user to use Gmail credentials.
Okay, I got invitation.
Yeah, you got invitation. You can use your Gmail account for logging into WWS here.
Okay.
Right. So now that way what happens, this user will get the ability to log into my organization. Right. So here you have to use this account for logging into my account. So here, for example, I will share this with you because you may be having your own this thing, right? Cloud account, right? In such cases, you cannot log in here. So what I will, yeah. So this is the account you have to log in for logging into my account, wilmatech.com.
Okay.
Right. So you'll be given access to this. Means you'll be using this name for logging into Wilma account.
For accessing resources.
Correct. For accessing Wilma resources. And I mean, provided if it's already put in place, like domain name, everything, if I've already taken care, then we will not worry about all these things here. See, now every single user have a Azure account, right? For example, you may ask me a question here, like if you go to this one, portal.azure.com, right? And you will type in the credentials here, for example. So here, portal.azure.com, it is going into my account. Okay, let me sign out. So here, assume that you have signed out. Right. So here, right. So here you will select your account. Right. This account will be selecting and say next. Right. So here you will be providing the Gmail password. Right. Then what happens? Your first request will come to Wilma Technologies, and Wilma Technologies will forward that request to Gmail. Hey, Raj is trying to log into my account. Do you really have Gmail account for Raj? Likewise, Wilma Technologies Azure AD will go and ask Google, and Google says yes, he is the legitimate user. Did he type this password? It will ask Azure AD. Then the Azure AD says, on allowing, let me put it this way. In B2C we are talking about. In B2C solutions, what happens is, so Raj Kumar is actually having account with Gmail, and now what I did, for Raj Kumar, I have created a guest user account, Raj Kumar, and now Raj Kumar is sitting here, right? And he opens up portal.azure.com, right? He typed in here, and again he typed in the lengthy username what I showed you, right? He typed in here. The moment he types in username, what happens? Those things are sent to Azure AD, and now Azure AD, what it does, it will validate the username and password against its own not username and password, but username. right? So first it will validate the username, and after receiving this username, what it says, it will ask the Gmail, hey, do you know this guy? And actually authentication will happen here because you are typing the Gmail password here. The password what you're typing is not there in here. Azure AD doesn't have that password. It is there with the Gmail. That way what happens, whenever you log into my account will forward that request to Gmail, and Gmail will again authenticate, and you'll be able to log into Azure AD. That is again guest B2C process, and this is all for social networks. Social network means Gmail or Facebook or whatever social networks you are using, right? It's applicable for all such examples. Okay. So then see, the moment you type password, what happens? It is actually going to Wilma, but password it will actually ask Gmail, hey, here is the credentials he has provided. Do you agree that you have account with Raj? I mean, you have Raj's account in your database. So that is how the authentication will happen. It's in B2C solutions. If it is B2B, yeah, then it is different. So B2B, what happens is every company has got its own Azure AD, right? So Cognizant has got Azure AD, and Wipro has got its own Azure AD, and Wilmar Technologies has got its own Azure AD, right? And same way TCS has got its own Azure AD, right? And now developer, Tata developer 1, Cognizant developer 2, Wipro developer 3, all these developers actually coming to my company and developing an application. And then what happens, I have to create a guest Tata developer 1, guest Cognizant developer 2, guest Wipro developer 3. I have to create guest accounts in my Azure AD, and then what happens, whenever this guy, right, Tata developer logs into my account, actually what happens, from here the Tata developer actually logging into my account, and here he typed the guest account. The moment he typed in the guest accounts, his credentials are sent to the Tata Azure AD and gets authenticated and then gets authorized to log into Azure. So this is again B2B. Means in B2B, every company will have its own Azure AD. Business to business, these people are doing business, I am doing business, they are doing business, everybody is doing business, right? So this is a kind of collaborative work. We call it as B2B. Right? Yeah, so with that said, we are done for the day. Let's connect next week. And meanwhile, what I did. Yeah,
sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
Actually, suppose if we change our mobile number, so how do we reset the path? Like sending the code to the new number. Suppose for resetting the password, okay, it is sending the code to my mobile number.
You have to re-register. Simple, right? You have to re-register. For example, you have an account with ICICI Bank or whatever bank you have, right? So what will you do if you change the mobile number? You will update them. You will tell them you go to bank, you will update them. Similarly, you should approach your organization. You should write an email stating that please update my phone number, and they will update the phone number.
How do we set this parameter in this Azure Active Directory? How to is it from the backend, or where to reset that parameter?
Okay, as an admin, where do you want to reset?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let us see here. So if you go back to the so here your users, right? So we are already in users. Like for example, Raj Kumar has done that. Azure. Okay, not Raj Kumar. This is again not managed by Azure, right? Praveen. Let's go with Praveen. Right. So in here you have that details. So reset password, you can do it. And if you click on edit here, you can edit all the properties here, username or any email changes or any profile, job changes or the contact details, right? Here itself you can change everything here. The phone number.
Can we give the new phone number? Where can we give where can we see the previous phone number and where we can update the new phone number?
This is the place.
Okay, this is the mobile number that he entered earlier, but it is not showing here. No, previously he gave one.
I got your point,
number.
but this is the place you can go and edit it. Simple. This is where you'll come and edit it.
So if we give the new number, India number something here, it will automatically send the messages to India number. Correct.
You just have to refresh it here. I got your doubt. Why is it not showing the old phone number? You are asking.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah. So, maybe my page not refreshed. There are several reasons, right? But you can very well do that. So here, Praveen Kumar, edit. So here, mobile number, did I register? Okay. Maybe it is not showing it in my profile, but it will show there only. That is the only place.
Yeah, what is the refresh time normally? Because in some time back when you are showing
there is no refresh time. There is no refresh time, but you need to refresh because it's all HTTPS based APIs, right? These are all APIs. So there is no proper timelines. So you just have to just click on refresh. That's it. Nothing much.
So it won't use any catchy information because it is not showing anything.
No, nothing like that. So you just have to refresh it, unless it gets refreshed, you need to wait for it. That's it. There is no option.
So we can't any force refresh or anything.
No, we don't have anything. Means for those things you have to purchase some software, additional software. That is where tools will help actually. Means there are some backlogs for the default product, right? And that is where Ping Federate, if you recollect, yesterday we were talking about Ping Federate, right? Ping Federate, Orca, and there are a lot of other tools available. That is why most of the companies will use those tools for getting the actual benefits. Very easy management, faster management, easy refreshment, all those things they'll offer. Not the default features.
So, but it will show here, and we have to update over here.
Yeah, that's what. So here itself it will show it here. So only thing is you just have to wait for it. That's it. Nothing much. But this is the place. Only thing is.
Can you change the mobile number over here?
No, we can change. Change it and save it over.
So next time it will come to the new mobile.
Correct. Whatever you registered, whatever you have applied it here, and it will work on the new mobile number.
No problem. I'll check it and let you know the result.
Alright. Yeah. So with that said, we will come back next week and we will work on the multi-tenants, the last topic of Azure AD. And again, whenever I get time, I'll be talking about all other features also, as and when we get it, but not as a part of this one, because our course is again talking only about these things. Most practically, these are the only useful things we need actually, unless you are working as a professional in Azure AD. So invite users we have seen, and also we have created bulk users, how to create it, and also we have seen group accounts assigned and dynamic, right? So. And also we have seen the multi-factor authentication, how to implement your MFA using phone number, and this is the only option available for us because we don't have infrastructure for this to demonstrate. So like
sir, one more thing. that dynamic groups are and all coming with free account, 1 month free we have registered with Azure.
Correct. Yeah, you can also actually access it by going to your account here. For
P2
example,
license is available in 1 month free account?
Correct. So by going to your licenses here, you can enable that feature also. If you want to practice dynamic groups by going to licenses here.
All features available in 1 month, right? A period.
Yes, for 1 month they are available.
Okay.
By going to licenses, you can enable it. Licenses and all licensed features, right? And they just scroll it down in the ending and try it for free. Any of these 4 you can click it here or here or here. Click Azure, try Azure AD Premium, and here it's premium, right? This is again Azure AD Premium.
There is no extra charges.
No extra charges. So it will be, click on activate and it will be available for 30 days.
Okay.
Right?
So can you please share this PPT as of now? Just now we seen the PPT, right? Can you please upload in our portal?
Which one you are talking about?
Just now we have seen that PPT.
Oh, those things are not shared. These are not shareable. These are only trainer
Okay.
data, not the audience.
Otherwise, this kind of documents, any PDF.
I mean, that's what I told you, right? You will get everything, whatever is needed. Only thing is you need to first understand. So you will slowly get into, I mean, for example, in study guides, right? In study guides, you will be getting all the required study material. Here I will be uploading all the study material.
As of now, what you have.
So links also I will upload. Means whenever we get some links, right? This is the place I will be uploading all. How to download AD Connect, how to install TS, TLS. If I forget something, just let me know. I will go ahead and upload it here. Links, right? So links will be there in all one place, and all the study material will be there in this place, and from here you can go through it. And recordings I told you here, and again labs also here. So labs I've already uploaded. You can go ahead and practice all these labs. Like 5 labs I've already uploaded, 4 labs. And also today, since we have already spoken about dynamic groups, right? And MOC labs also I will upload. You will see MOC labs here. And you'll just see one lab for Azure AD. Right? So here I will go ahead and upload all the MOC labs. You will see the lab here in this folder. Right? So likewise, you can see in one place you can get everything. Right? And moreover, I told you, right, like if you can practice this lab, for example, Wilma Labs. This is the big lab. And big module, right? Whole module again comprises of all the experiments, how to manage user accounts, group accounts, again directory, and how to create dynamic groups. There is a link already here. Access reviews, what are access reviews, and again what is MFA, how to implement it, how to implement AD Connect. Link is already provided. And here steps also I have provided, option 1 and option 2. Option 1 is useful when you have Hyper-V installed on your machine, and option 2 is useful when you don't have Hyper-V, you want to implement the other solution. So what is that solution I talked about? So this is the solution. Yesterday we learned about this one, right? Implement hybrid model. This is the usual model. So where you'll have domain controllers coming from on-premises, you'll install AD Connect on this, and again connect it to Azure AD, and then the users can log in here or here. This was the traditional approach. And we have another model, right? This model is again the one what I demonstrated yesterday. We built 2 domain controllers, right? And again, these users can get authenticated into Azure AD, or can they also get authenticated with Windows AD, provided the authentication methods, whatever you want to set up, right? So that again steps also given here. I'll place these things in our place. So these things I can share it with you. You can make use of this. And this is this is again model 1 and model 2, right? So that is how you can go ahead and practice. All right, I'm pausing the recording here.